I don't like this shirt. Zetus Lapidus, this light. Are we gonna have to film over here? Jeepers! Ooh, look at this. That's cool. Hi, Frody. Hello, all of my fine feathered friends. It's your fairy godmother Mint, and welcome back to my channel. How are you doing, baby? How are you doing? I know that the past couple of days have been R-U-O-G-H, rough! But I love you. We are in this together. Look to your community. Look to your friends and your allies for love and support. Look to your comfort people for comfort. Take care of yourself. Drink water. Take your vitamins. Eat food. Do your exercise. Do your self-care. You're going to have to leave, Mamacita, out of the room because you're always knocking things down and I don't like it when you do that. She's just sitting there. Out, sweetheart. This is so serendipitous. Out! Am I using that word correctly? I feel like I'm not. Half the time I say it, I'm like, I don't think that's what that means. I do not think that word means what you think it means, bruh. Anyway, I have been so excited to get back to the Fae Wednesday series. I've been really doing a lot of research on different fairies that have been a little bit more obscure and a little bit less known. Oh my gosh. First of all, before we even get into this video, let me show you something amazing. So my dear friend Sarah James Middleton, I love her so much. She had a wonderful birthday party and there was a white elephant. So if you're familiar with white elephant, it's this thing that I never grew up with that you bring in a gift. Sometimes it's like a gift, like a handmade gift or like a regifting gift or whatever. You bring in a gift, you put it in a pile, and then you all pick a number and then you go in order and you pick the gift, you open it up and you're like, wow, this is amazing. And if someone after you likes your gift, they can steal it from you. When it was my turn, I went forward and I got this oil because it was made by my darling Elle Alexa, the wonderful singer, jeweler extraordinaire, absolutely wonderful person. She made this love potion oil specifically to attract a person's mate. And as you know, I am looking for another mate. I'm happily married to my husband. We love each other. He has a lovely girlfriend. I, too, would love a lovely girlfriend. Someone nice and sweet and kind. Please. Gentle and joyous, creative and fun. So I was like, let me make this love oil. As soon as I picked it up, my friend Maddie stole it from me. Stole it. She was like, no, that's for me. And then a little bit later, after she thought about it, I guess, she gave it back to me. And I was like, whoa, oh my gosh, happiness. I was so happy. And then, right before the party was over, the birthday girl, Sarah James Middleton, was like, actually, and took it back from me. The devastation, the sadness. I was so bummed. But I was like, you know what? It's okay, doggies. It's okay. The universe was like, you don't need this love oil today, baby. You don't. So I was like, all right, that's fine, you know. Fast forward, my friend Allie comes to stay with me, makes beautiful, delicious rose and pistachio love spell cookies. I ate so many, they were so good. I felt like that added to the love magic that I was already doing. And then, at the Myth Maker's Ball, guess who gives Minty Mint the love spell oil? Back in my arms again. Anyway, homies, today we're going to talk about the follet. Not to be confused with the faux follet, which is a French and Cajun will-o'-the-wisp type fairy, which is really interesting. I always hear of will-o'-the-wisp in other countries and being very beautiful and tiny and small, glowing little balls of like furry light, which I love. So hearing about one that's in Louisiana really excites me. However, today we're talking about the follet. And Frodo wants to talk about it too, don't you, Frody? Yes. The follets are known to come from Switzerland, France, and Ireland as well. And I'm sure, like a lot of underground tunneling fairies, they have traveled all around the world Follets are descendants of elves. A portion of them decide to stay in the underground caverns and live in the incredible underland city that some of the Fae really enjoy, but some of them were inspired to come up to the surface and hang out with humans. Whenever I hear about fairies that are interested in people, I think that that must be some sort of like fluke or something. Like there's got to be a reason why they find humans interesting. And I do find that a lot of elves are interested in humans. Like elves seem to have this idea that we are interesting or fascinating, or that there are things that we create or things that we do that they want to like innovate or help, you know, us to create or be a part of. But the Follet themselves, they weren't so much wanting to help us build new buildings or do anything cool. They were just like interested in our ways of life. They really liked our creature comforts. They liked the fact that our clothing was, you know, really heavy and sewn well. Like the underground cave Follets, they weren't dressing well. They lived in the dirt and they lived in the muck. There are Fae that live underground in beautiful cities, and they live in these gorgeous like buildings and things that are just in that underground realm. And then there are Fae that like to live in the dirt and the rocks, and they like to mine and live in caves. And Follets are those kinds of Fae that are like, they want to be in the earth. They're really focused on their job of creating new minerals and creating new systems, and whatever it is that they do with the earth, they are really focused on that part of it, instead of being, you know, like a high elf living in some beautiful underground like tree root system with lights and blah blah blah. They really want to get down and dirty into the earth, a lot like gnomes and dwarves as well. These Follets that I'm talking about are the domesticated Follets, the ones that decided that they wanted to have tailored clothing, and they wanted to wear shoes, they wanted to eat hot food, and they wanted to be clean, they wanted to shave. Follets usually have long scraggly beards and hair that's just like going all over the place, you know, like probably locks full of like clods of dirt and minerals and whatever. But the Follets that were domesticated decided to shave, they wanted to have shorter hair, they wanted to be like humans. So they were quite small, the cave Follets being 1 to 2 feet tall. The domesticated Follets started to grow a little bit taller. They started to look a little bit more like humans over the centuries of them living with humans. Unlike brownies, the Follets that lived with humans didn't really assist people first and ask questions later. They definitely were trickster light, I'll call it. They didn't really like hurt anyone. They weren't terrible, like they didn't, you know, cause any pain or steal anything from you. They wouldn't do anything to like truly harm you, but they would throw things at you and they would make noises to scare you. They like to do things that just like set you on edge or just make you upset. Now, if you're someone that doesn't get upset by those things, if you're someone that, you know, maybe you hear a sound and you're like, what is that? And you think it's whimsical and it's funny, no big deal, you know what I mean? You don't get your blood pressure up, you're not freaking out about anything. The Follets will then they'll take a liking to you. You know, they think that a good-natured person, a spirited person who feels the lightness in life is someone worth befriending, and then they become the kind of house spirit that does assist you. They do want to help you. They finish projects for you. If you have lost something, they will find it for you. They'll do certain things to keep your animals healthy. If you're someone that has pets, if you're someone that has like domesticated animals or domesticated other animals, I don't know, cows. They like to do things to keep your animals or your livestock healthy, and that's a really fascinating thing, that they would take a liking to someone who just takes their jokes in stride, you know, takes their little tricks in stride. I think it's really funny that they find people to be interesting enough to want to be like them, you know, to want to shave and be clean. I think that's super fascinating. Another thing about Follets is that they are indeed only male. They only manifest in males. They are only male, which is one of those things where you're like, okay, well, how were they born? You know, some things, you know, you think about the urukai, or you think about like orcs that are born out of the ground and they're all gross and slimy. That's how I imagine these guys are born. And they do have a very distinctive look. Like I said, if they're the cave follets, they are really wrinkly. They have dark skin. They are 1 to 2 feet tall, like I said, long beards, and their clothing is very tattered and muddy and dirty, kind of yucky. They probably have longer nails, and just like not really groomed as well. Sometimes they'll have hats on. The domesticated follets, however, have a little bit of swag, because these jokers decided they wanted to dress like court jesters. They had these hats that with the floppy so-and-sos, the bells at the ends. They wanted to do the two-tone shirts, the two-tone pants. That was their very particular style. They thought that that was just like how they were G'd up, like was what the proper attire should be for one domesticated small elf man. I love the idea of a little guy seeing a court jester and being like, I want to wear that. That's exactly what I want to wear right now. Put that on my body right now. Like, it's just so cute to me. Oh my gosh. Also, they were shapeshifters. And so far it seems like they've only shifted to 2 animals, a horse and a goat. I haven't heard of any other. I'm sure I will though as my studies continue. But when they are horses, they have this tendency to find people who are braggadocious about their horse riding skills. They'll lure that person onto their back, shooing, bam, and then get the person up there and then buck them off, fluke them off. They like to humiliate people who were very boastful, which I think is hilarious. They would turn into a goat and they would butt people, kick people, you know, just do things that were very unlike the animals that they were. Have the farmers chasing them and stuff like that, like just ridiculous behavior as a goat and a horse, which I think is really cute. Imagine a goat and a horse being best friends. Another thing about follets is they were crude. They were definitely very crude. One of their favorite pranks is to show their body parts to people. They like to be little nasties and put their little butt cheeks on windows and stuff like that. Taking off their clothes and like flashing someone, and then you would be like, what was that I just saw? Like, did I literally just see that? And then they would like run away. They had a tendency to want to hide up your chimney. I think that that's one of those like portal type situations, because chimneys come up a lot in these kinds of stories with house fae. They like to live in the chimney or be in that in-between space. It's like a portal. It's like a chute, you know? But yeah, I just imagine seeing like a little naked dude and then like runs away and you're like, okay, well, time to take a nap. But if you can take all their little jokes and all their little pranks and their little nudie butt cheeks in stride, they will really want to help you and be there for you. They have such a wonderful tendency to want to create a comfortable home, just like a brownie. Once they love you and feel like, or maybe not love you, but once they feel comfortable with you and recognize that you're a good person, a good spirit, they like to leave you gifts, you know, they like to leave you little gifts. That is really a sign of a happy home, you know, a happy home and a well-balanced home with a lot of joy in it is one where you can find little gifts, little trinkets surrounded by the fae that have decided that you're a good one, you know. I think that's really cool. Now, I really want to draw both versions of the follet. I want to draw the cave follet, the cave-dwelling little curmudgeon-y old wrinkled guy, and I'd like to draw a domesticated follet, one wearing his jester outfit. I think it'd be really fun. This is the field guide to the little people, and this is their picture of the follet, which I think is quite interesting. He's like obviously like short, and he's got his little jester outfit on. He's got a little pole thing. I think that's super funny. And there's a story in here as well. Lorcan's wife was once approached by a group of tiny Dimoni boyer. Redonnez-moi. Dimoni boyer. Okay.
Give you grain? Why, you've probably stolen half a bushel already. But if you really want it, you can wash this wool. When it's completely white, come back and I'll give you the grain. The boyer looked at the wool and then back at the woman. Some of the smaller elves started to cry. We'll never be able to make it white. The miller's wife just laughed at them. She had asked a favor of them that they knew. She had asked them a favor and knew they were forced to do her bidding. Very slowly and sadly, the demoniac boyer left the mill and were never seen again on the island. Someday they will return with a skein of bleached white wool and expect their grain. Maybe they do steal. She accused them of stealing her grain. You know what? I think it's super interesting that he has a sword here, because in one of the stories that I read, they would use like pins as swords because that's how small they were. Interesting that he has like a full-size sword. But again, those are the domesticated ones. You know, the domesticated follet was a little bit taller. They were big enough to have maybe like a small sword, like a child-sized sword. You know what I mean? Let's draw them. My sketchbook here. Let's see what we can do. Demoniac boyer. Cute. They're cute. They're cute. I kind of love Mr. Cave Follet. I think he's adorable. All he wants to do is smoke his pipe and look at his gems and hang out with his bros all day. You know what I mean? The little jester house Follet is kind of like ready for a little bit of action. Maybe wants to like tumble on the floor and like scare somebody into thinking that a doll is moving or something like that. I can imagine both scenarios. So what would you do if you saw a Follet in your house? What would you do if you saw a tiny little jester that looked like one of those little jester dolls from back in the day? Just chilling. And then it moves. That would be so terrifying. I would hate that. I think they are the kind of little folk that are too interested in having some kind of treats that a lot of house spirits enjoy. Like they would just love to see what kind of practical jokes that you would like to play on other people and how lighthearted you can be, you know, how much you can take a joke. Let me know what kinds of fairies you would like to learn about in the comment section. There are so many from all around the world that I'd like to share with you, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Have a lovely, splendid, incredible evening. Mwah!